What's up guys, welcome to Ride the Coffee Bean. Today I am in Podgorica, the capital of Montenegro. And I'm here to learn a little bit about coffee. So let's go check out a few coffee shops and see what we find.
Montenegro is a small country where different cultures meet. They have a long history, but officially became an independent state as late as 2006. Coffee is an important part of the culture and everyday life here. But why? And how did it become this way? And what about specialty coffee? Let's take a walk around town and learn some more.
First up is a place called Fabrica Coffee. If you remember our visit to Bosnia, when we found the really cool coffee bar in Mostar by surprise. It's the same company. So I'm curious to see what the coffee tastes like here.
Fabrica is a company with a few locations around the Balkans where they are pioneers of specialty coffee, working on spreading knowledge and interest of coffee in the area. They roast their own coffee in Bosnia and will soon open a roastery in Podgorica as well.
Fabrica Coffee is the first specialty coffee shop in Montenegro. We want to try something new and we want to try something, keep it simple. Only espresso coffees, filter coffees, and we like to show people what kind of coffees there are in the world, At the beginning, they were like, it's sour, it's not really good, but as the time goes by, when they try our coffee and then go somewhere else, they always come back, and by the time they're used to it. People here are used to for dark roasted coffee with a lot of Robusta in it, and honestly, a lot of people here don't know anything about the coffee, They're just drinking whatever. Everybody here likes drinking Turkish coffee.
Traditionally, Montenegrin coffee is influenced by Italian and Turkish coffee cultures. But tourists are participating in the development of a more modern coffee culture.
We have a lot of tourists, really, a lot of tourists. And I think we started working really well because of them. I always had, something special for the coffee. Now that I got into it, I'm exploring that world, every day. Yeah, it's really cool. And we're using fresh milk every morning from the farm. It's really good.
Fabrica is a great place to start, but there are other places to discover in town as well.
Also another chain here, a coffee chain called Caffeine Coffee. And they have, I think, 7 or 8 different locations around Podgorica. So let's head over to Caffeine number 5 and see what they have to offer.
Caffeine is a franchise that opened about 5 years ago. Their roastery is called Java, and they now have many shops around town. Today we stop at one of them to learn more about why coffee is so important in Montenegro and what the culture around it is like.
Here, filter coffee in Montenegro, it's not such a big thing. I learned this when I was on my training for barista. I did use espresso machine before, but they have some special coffees here. But this coffee, nobody ordered it for whole week of my training. And I had to learn these things by myself here because a lot of foreigners that live in Montenegro, especially from the post-Soviet countries, a lot of them came in Podgorica lately, and a lot of them enjoy this coffee, and I didn't know they had such a rich coffee culture there, and they really enjoy filter coffees. For us, not so many people. And it's just these individuals that travel and they come back and they kind of bring this coffee culture, but here it's either Turkish coffee or espresso, in Podgorica we call cappuccino Deutsch coffee. A lot of people are like, oh, give me cappuccino, and for me Deutsch coffee, and I'm like, I know you're not ready to hear this, but that's the same coffee. For here, coffee, it's not about coffee. It's about time you spend with people. It's about a ritual. Because no matter how busy you are, in Montenegro you always have to sit down. And you always have to relax and take things easy. You say lagano, because everything needs to be lagano. And we're really easygoing people until we're not. But we're really chill. And your morning has to start with coffee and a cigarette. And also you see a lot of people like to sit outside. And when sunshine comes, we're like little lizards. We just come out in sun and we sunbathe and enjoy our coffee. And it's Not like in America, they're like, oh, tell me your plans, your calendar 10 days in advance. No, no, no. Here you're gonna sit for coffee and it's not gonna be 30 minutes. It's gonna be 2 hours gossiping, talking about life, like slowly drinking coffee, maybe drinking 2 coffees, then proceed to drink some alcohol or whatever. Like one of the initial ideas behind this was to teach people coffee culture in Montenegro. Because our coffee culture in Montenegro, as I told you, is not so much about coffee. We don't know so much about coffee we're drinking. We adapted Turkish coffee. It's like part of the, history and culture. And then espresso is something that was more influenced by some countries around us. So like this is something more specific, I think, because they're trying to teach people more about it. But I think Caffeine is really unique, not because I work here, but because it's not only about coffee, it's about the experience you get. Because if you come here, you can always talk to us and, we can chat about coffee and you can like have a peaceful atmosphere and everything. If you go to our other coffee shop, like Caffeine 5, you're gonna get a more like a busy, like you're gonna feel like what's the work day in Montenegro like, when people are like, oh, give me my coffee to go, I'm gonna go. And you have also other people who like to have their coffee and cigarette despite everything. The culture is us being chill, it's Montenegro. We like to take things easy, we like to, do things slowly. But I think that's influence of like Mediterranean culture in general, because we're really easygoing and we're really like close to each other. We have this warmth between people. It just shows this social aspect of it. So I think it's more of that than coffee itself. So maybe it's good that we have places like this that actually will teach us about coffee, because we already have this culture that brings us together. The owners of these places that like they want to share this, like knowledge of coffee that's more than just, coffee you get in the store. This is like really good quality, special coffee, so you like get to know about it. So I think people will get to know more and more about it. I think it's just the process.
Traditional forms of coffee are still made at home and can be ordered in the shop.
We call it just cooked coffee. Or we say Turska coffee, Turkish coffee. This is the coffee, it's already blended, it doesn't have anything to do with espresso quality.
It's just powder.
You just pour hot water inside of this and you put 1 spoon or how much you want in that. It boils together and you put it in the cup.
And lastly, another place worth visiting if you're looking for good coffee is Zrno Coffee Shop. Zrno was the first of its kind and is now almost 10 years old. They're also the first specialty coffee roasters in town. It's a good place to go to experience one of the first coffee shops in the capital and enjoy a nice brew like a local.
It's pretty good. I find it really fascinating how important the coffee is to Montenegrin culture. It's kind of similar to how I view coffee. Like I find the nerdiness and the details about coffee very fascinating too. But what I really like about it is that it gives you an excuse to sit down, relax for a few minutes, enjoy a cup of coffee and get to know someone, have a chat with someone. And that seems to be the main driver behind why coffee is so important here in Montenegro. Traditionally, they've been inspired by Turkish and Italian coffee, and so it's very dark roasted and bitter coffee. But now with the amount of specialty coffee shops that have popped up here in the last 5 years, this is really changing and people are really starting to embrace specialty coffee.
Now you know a little bit more about the importance of coffee in Montenegro and where to go in the capital for some good brews and nice atmospheres. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell if you want to see more coffee adventures. See you next time.